somebody told me that you could be getting a contract or something like maybe Mikey Musumeci just got. What was that promotion?
Yeah, UFC Fight Pass.
The UFC Fight Pass.
It's a good, solid option that's on the table, but nothing is signed as of now.
What's the benefit of signing an exclusive deal?
I mean, the coolest thing is that you could just go around and tell people that you're a UFC fighter.
I mean, but are you though?
What are your thoughts on the press conference that Mikey Musumeci had when he was talking about like he wants to clean up the sport?
Jiu-Jitsu has always been an untested sport.
But it's 2024, so let's get with the times.
If UFC wants to have a tested league, then that's fine. But like a large percentage of the big names in the sport just aren't going to sign if they have to test. We're going to see something's going to get set in stone, hopefully pretty soon.
I mean, why is this?
Why are you gone, Deron? Get back in the Deron. We're live. Get back in the frame. Get back in the frame.
There you go.
I'm in frame. Let's go, baby.
So let's talk about your life, Deron.
What?
Let's talk about your life, buddy.
Let's not talk about my life.
No, you had a big move. You're in Colorado now?
Yeah, this is the first.
Let's get into it.
This is my first recording from my new home that I've relocated to Colorado, Denver, Colorado. So I'm now an hour ahead of you guys. But hey, at least we're all together now, you know?
We should just all like plan to meet at the same time. Like we plan to meet at whatever, 12:30. Because then by the time you get everything like situated, it's going to be 1 hour and then it's going to be perfect.
Bro, I just got here from like a 3-day travel. So just give me a second. All right.
And you took a train.
All right. Anyways,
we gotta talk about the train.
Let's talk some MMA or some jiu-jitsu wrestling. Yeah.
I want to talk about your 3-day train ride, bro.
No, let's just talk about what you got going on, Mason. What's up with you? When are you going to compete next? You know, I mean, that's what because I heard somebody told me that you could be getting a contract or something like maybe Mikey Musumeci just got, because he just competed this weekend in a really cool promotion. And what was that promotion?
Yeah, UFC Fight Pass.
The UFC Fight Pass, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to. I don't know. Yeah, UFC is signing some athletes to exclusive deals. They announced already that they're signing Mikey. Obviously, I have a really good relationship with them. So that's like it's a good solid option that's on the table. But nothing is signed as of now.
Interesting.
There's a lot of promotions and there's a lot of different ways to make money now. There's a lot of promotions that are paying really well. So, but at the same time, of course, who doesn't want to be signed to the UFC? So we're going to see something's going to get set in stone, hopefully pretty soon. But at the same time, like there's no rush. I'm still recovering from a back injury, so I'm not rushing to get back into competition anytime soon. Hopefully around like March or April, I'll be able to compete again.
Nice.
What's the benefit of signing an exclusive deal? Obviously, first thought is, well, you'll be able to, get your name out there on being associated with the UFC. Second being, it's got to be worth it, like money wise, right? If you're cutting out everyone else, it's got to be worth it. But is there anything else that I'm missing there with signing an exclusive deal with the UFC?
I mean, the coolest thing is that you could just go around and tell people that you're a UFC fighter, which is what I wanted to do my whole life.
I mean, but are you though? Like, are you going to say, dog? Yeah? They're like, what do you do? You're like, I'm a UFC fighter. Like, come on, man.
No, I'm just going to be able to say I'm signed to the UFC. Like,
just say, yeah, I'm signed to the UFC. I'm a UFC athlete.
They don't need to know what sport it is.
Yeah, let's just say that.
All you need to know is I'm signed to the UFC, baby.
I'd rather than think that you were signed to the UFC or the slap promotion. More than anything. I just,
Hey, I will slap fight you, bro.
Slap fight me?
Yeah.
You don't want to slap fight me, bro.
Oh, I will slap fight you.
You don't want to slap fight me, bro. Because then
hey, you look like you slapped a couple dudes in your day.
Might be completed after that, all right?
Hey, I have to tell the story. It's so funny. For whatever reason, like I remember I told you about it. I don't know if you remember. I had a dream one time, like 5 years ago. I had a dream that someone was trying to fight me, and then all of a sudden, Deron came out of nowhere and slapped him. I swear, I swear to God.
Really?
Deron is the type of dude, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Say what you want about him. He might be the worst friend ever at times. But if you ever get into some type of trouble, Deron is the guy that you want there because he will slap someone, bro.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that used to be my thing because a couple of things. Like, so one, I've always been like, I grew up like, I told you, it's like if you were talking shit about somebody or talking shit to somebody, or if you crossed the line, if you said something to somebody that you knew, like if I say this, we're gonna fight. Like I grew up in the neighborhood that like we really did fight. Like we didn't just say, like, dude, I'm gonna get you. Like if I said that to somebody, we were fighting, you know? So I grew up in the neighborhood of like, you better swing first or somebody's gonna hit you first. And then as I got a little older, I like hurt somebody one time when I was like 18. I like broke some dude's jaw. So instead of not fighting anymore, like I should have done as a responsible adult, I resorted to slapping people.
Yeah,
So
'cause you're not going to break their jaw.
because it wouldn't most likely break their jaw.
How
And,
demoralizing would that be, though? You just fucking, here comes Deron, just slap the shit out of you, and you got nothing to say.
I mean, you have nothing to say. I mean, because that's really how you like, you know, so and so like, or so and so like you test somebody's gangster. Like if somebody's talking shit to you and you walk up to them and you slap them, what they do next says everything I need to know about you. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be surprised the amount of dudes who won't do anything. Like at least fight me and get beat up.
No, but they've never been in that situation and they're in shock.
They're
it
in
puts
shock.
them in shock. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I've done it to a few dudes. Like I open hand slapped a couple dudes and I've like back popped them before. Like I've like some dude's been in my face before and I've been like, boom, you better get on my face, bro.
Just a little
And
like,
that one's the most disrespectful one.
I was just gonna say,
When you get backhanded, oh my life. When you get backhanded like that, bro, like the
It's
human
over.
nature, it's almost you almost feel like it's your mom doing it, right?
I promise you your lighting's okay, bro.
I don't know what's going on here, bro.
I promise.
I looked up.
What?
Your lighting is good, bro.
Dude, it fell, bro.
Your lighting's good.
All right, bro.
So-
Anyways.
So going back to the contract with the UFC, and now we're seeing a lot of people that are posting and saying like, don't sign an exclusive contract, don't sign an exclusive contract, don't sign an exclusive contract. For me personally, like I'm definitely down to sign an exclusive contract with the UFC for like super fights, but I would like to compete in the CGI if they do another one this year. Because
have you
CGI
talked
is a
to the
really good
UFC
deal.
about that?
Yeah, we spoke about it. I just don't know like how much detail I'm supposed to get into with like, you know, the contracts. I know things are like what's it called when you're not supposed to talk about it?
NDA.
Confidential. Yeah, there's
Oh,
things
yeah.
that are confidential, right? So I'm not sure exactly how much I'm supposed to talk about, but I will say that I would like to obviously win $1 million. So that's one thing. The other thing is I know that we can still compete on other promotions that are on UFC Fight Pass. So it's not like we can only do the Fight Pass Invitational. There are still some other promotions that we would be able to compete under. So it's a lot to think about, and I'm in no rush. So I'm just thinking about it and seeing kind of what official deal gets presented to us. It's kind of in the early talks still. So we'll see.
Do you know if like Dana White was saying that like the contract with Mikey Musumeci was like the first of its kind. I don't know if he means like first for UFC or first of its kind for like the amount of money.
No, first for UFC.
Okay, so then are they going to be like offering higher contract amounts, or like what is like? I'm just trying to figure out what the ultimate pull is to get somebody to just be exclusive with them. And then on top of that, do you know if they're going to treat grapplers the way they do some of the fighter, well, I guess all the fighters, with like not being able to have like sponsors of your own. Like, you know, like remember how it used to be like they could wear patches of whoever they wanted, and then all of a sudden they got like to that professional level, and now it was just UFC like apparel, and you couldn't wear your own sponsors on your fight kits and stuff. Is it going to be something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I am like someone that is able to make a good amount of money from sponsors. So that's a really good question that we haven't actually even asked. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that we can kind of bring up next time we talk to them.
Yeah, dude, just have me on the call and I'll ask all these hard questions.
Yeah. No, I'll write it down in my notes. Yeah, that's a good point. I think the big selling point is like, you're going to be getting paid a good amount. You're getting paid a substantial amount. You're going to get a guarantee of how many matches you get on the platform per year. You're going to get marketed better because you're a UFC athlete. You're going to get better marketing. They've posted one of my matches on like UFC's actual Instagram before that has however many million followers. So there's no other jiu-jitsu promotions that you're going to get that type of marketing, because they just don't have the infrastructure. There's no other.
I mean, there's not many sports promotions on the planet that'll give you that type of promotion.
Yeah. So if we're going to be getting promoted by the UFC machine, that's a big selling point. But yeah, on the flip side, like if I have a good year and I stay healthy, I would like to be pretty active. And, you know, as a jiu-jitsu athlete, you can compete every weekend if you wanted to. It's not like a fight where you can only fight once every couple months. So that's the only downside in my head, is like I may get into a rhythm and want to compete more frequently. And obviously, if I was in an exclusive contract, that would be a little bit more difficult. I would have to. There's a potential that I could get shelved, right? So that's kind of the only downside, is that I wouldn't be able to compete as frequently as I want. But at the same time, like I'm 31, I'm getting old, so maybe I don't really need to compete every weekend. There's a lot of pros and cons, so we're just kind of weighing everything out right now.
Yeah, and then like you don't have to share names, but do you know if there's other heavyweights that you would be able to compete against that they're also trying to sign? Because I would hate for you to kind of have the situation with like Mikey Musumeci at one, where there was just like nobody really. Maybe I'm misremembering, but it just seemed like it was just like his division. I would hate for something like that.
But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
But I'm just saying,
because
like
all their focus was just on building him to win, so he was the superstar.
Okay, all right, that's a good.
So
point.
That's not really a negative. Like, most people wouldn't see that as a negative. Like, oh, you're only going to have matches that you win. Like, all right, like, all right,
that's true. Yeah,
that's not the end of the world, you know.
All right, what are your thoughts on the press conference that Mikey Musumeci had when he was talking about like he wants to clean up the sport and he wants drug testing to be like strict drug testing and that sort of thing?
Yeah, let's do that.
My quick thoughts are, hopefully if the UFC does want to do that, hopefully they're patient, because it's going to be a while before the sport gets cleaned up, because anybody, in my opinion, who's like actually like a face of the sport, like they're probably not going to want to get drug tested.
Yeah, definitely. Like, jiu-jitsu has always been an untested sport. But
it's 2024, so let's get with the times, you know?
Yeah, no, they can, like, if UFC wants to have a tested league, then that's fine. Like, they're a private company, they can do whatever they want. But like a large percentage of the big names in the sport just aren't going to sign if they have to test. So yeah. I think it's good to have a tested league. And then if they want to have some leagues that are untested, like ADCC has always said that they're not going to have testing, and like that's fine. If you want to test everyone and have a tested league, then that's your prerogative. But with that being said, like what I don't like is the way that like IBJJF does things when it comes to drug testing, because not everyone gets tested. So like, for example, let's say if you come in clean because you don't want to test positive, and then you lose to someone in the first round that is like juiced up, and then that guy goes and wins first place and then test positive, like they don't care. They just win and test positive. So then if you're the guy that lost in the first round, like you kind of got screwed because you lost and you didn't make the final or whatever. So I think that if UFC wants to make a tested league, that's fine. That's their option. It just has to kind of be like test everyone or don't test anyone. Like have a tested league or an untested league. But IBJJF is like partially tested. They'll like randomly test, like they test a few of the winners, and then all of a sudden 1 year they'll be like, okay, we're going to test this guy that got third place. It's just random.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or they just won't show up to get their medal like they did that 1 year.
Or people are just like, all right, I won, but I don't want to get tested, so I'm just going to leave and not get my medal.
Well, that's how WADA is. WADA just randomly tests too.
I think the way the UFC does it is like the best way, where they like randomly show up to your house and drug test you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like everyone's in the program. So then it's like the thing with jiu-jitsu has always been like, if you're someone that's coming up in the ranks and then all you hear about is that the best guys are taking PEDs and you're like, fuck, I want to be the best. Then you're like, damn, I have to use PEDs, I guess. So then it's like, if there's a strict testing where like we know that the UFC champions are tested. So if I want to be a UFC champion and I'm up and coming, I'm going to be like, dude, I'm not going to do steroids. There's testing.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing in jiu-jitsu is like, there's no testing. The ADCC champs are all open about using steroids. And then the people coming up are like, fuck, I want to be an ADCC champ. I have to do steroids too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you might as well.
Yeah, and that was, so I believe that was like Mikey's like biggest point was, we have a lot of these teams that have really young people that are up and coming, and it's sort of like, hey, if you want to be the best, like you're going to have to start jumping on things. So Deron, you as somebody that works with a lot of younger athletes, does that concern you at all to see like these teams bringing up young athletes? And it's like, I mean, there's like that one super popular video, I don't know his name, but Brazilian kid, super young, has like the worst gyno ever, wins his match.
Yeah.
He's a fucking savage, but it's like, whoa, I'm not saying he can't have that naturally. Like I have seen dudes have gyno naturally, but
that was crazy, right?
That was really bad. And so like that does bring up that other point where it's like, dude, the sport is getting bigger, the sport's getting younger. And it's like, dude, that's tough. Cause like what Mason just said.
I was actually going to comment on that, Andrew. It's like, you just got to think like what that does to the youth, because I mean, we know like the bad side effects, and really, honestly, what I maybe, beg to argue is about like, it's not about the side effects necessarily, and maybe this is, but more so the long-term side effects of it is like, basically like they say, like if you get on steroids, like you have to do it for the rest of your life, or you're just going to shrivel away, bro. So it's like, if you have a 12-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid, they're putting on, HGH or tests or whatever, right? I mean, I know that so I know this, let me back up. I know of some kids too that are underdeveloped for their age, 14-year-olds with no armpit hair, you know what I mean? With no, hair, down below or whatever. They just haven't grown or matured the way that
they haven't hit puberty.
They haven't hit puberty yet. And so I know of some kids who actually have got on that, but it's doctor prescribed. But, and I think it's in small doses to where it won't long-term affect them. But then you got to think about the kids who are doing it in like jiu-jitsu factor. And these are wrestlers. These are kids who are wrestlers who, have, I think good parents and that have, consulted in a doctor and whatever. But, you got to think of these kids who are jiu-jitsu bound, who don't have to worry about going to college and getting drug tested in college. And, their whole goal is to be, IBJJF world champion, CJI champion, ADCC champion. That do they understand that when you start taking these steroids at a young age and you consistently progress on them, that once you turn a certain age, like you have to just continue to do them for the rest of your life. Otherwise, your T levels are going to drop dramatically. You got to worry about your everyday fatigue, your depression, like you really honestly being like a shell of the human you used to be. What kind of effects is that going to cause somebody? What, that's only going to be negative. Like, I don't see any positive out of that.
So everything that I've heard is that your endocrine system isn't fully developed until you're 25.
Yeah.
So anytime any younger person comes to me and is like, I want to be an ADCC champ, I'm going to start taking steroids. I'm like, bro, just at least wait until you're 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be natural at least until you're 25 minimum.
A good human. Think about these parents, and we see it in every sport, every single sport, that are living through their kids. And then you get this guy who was a, so and say, let's just say Andrew, for example. Andrew, you are a purple belt, right?
He's a blue belt.
I'll take it, but no, blue belt.
All right. I don't want to downplay you, but you're blue belt. You love this shit. Obviously, we know Andrew's a good guy. He's got good integrity. He's got a good head on his shoulders. But imagine a guy like Andrew, who isn't Andrew, who is a piece of shit and wants to live through his kid, and maybe a little older than Andrew, and his kid is older, but all of a sudden, maybe he breeded with another human who allowed their seed to be special, right? And then his kid is getting first at every one of these tournaments every weekend. They're getting the swords, they're getting the trophies, they're getting the big medals, and they're getting the publicity. Their kids getting Instagram famous, and it's attention that they've never seen in their life. So they're like, and then they got a guy who comes up to him and is like, hey man, if you really want him to win, I got this recipe, And then his kid, he gives his kid this shit, whether his kid knows it or not, whether he's lying, it's vitamins or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, then what? Then the kid turns 18,
how old is
19.
How old is the kid in this scenario? He's a teenager?
He's 11, 12. He's 12.
Oh, yeah, that should be illegal, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but is it?
Has to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, steroid.
I mean, you can only give your kids hormone blockers if they want to transition to the opposite gender.
Yeah, but
that's the only time it's okay.
So who's going to fight that? Well, he's like, I want to make sure my kid doesn't transition, so I'm giving him
the opposite. He's like, I want my kid to be super straight.
I want to make sure my kid is super straight, bro.
Good idea. I gotta give my son my TRT.
Funny, but it's like, that's where we're living, right? We have to accept it, right? Because we're going to accept that other shit. Let's not even start talking about it. But if we're going to accept the other shit, then we got to accept that, right?
Yeah. But no, what you're talking about though is like that's real. Like, I don't want to put this out there for parents to even know if they weren't aware. But yeah, if someone's kid is going to the doctor on a regular basis and they're just not maturing, they're way behind schedule or whatever.
Yes.
What they don't get on like a lifetime TRT protocol, they get like a small dose to essentially wake up that side of their endocrine system.
Yes.
And then once they finally start to grow up, then it's off because now their natural stuff is building up and they're like got that machine running.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even aware that this was going on. This is like a regular thing.
It happens. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So is this because of like, is this because of the microplastics and like our diet and shit like that? That absolutely. Like it's disrupting our hormones and our kids?
All of the above. Sure. All of the above. The fucking the artificial blue light, not getting actual sun, the microplastics, sitting, the food, everything is causing this. But this is stuff that I'm hearing from like good legitimate sources of like parents that are like in the field, right? That are like, no, yeah, we had to do it, and recommend other people do it if they need it. My absolute like dream when it comes to drug testing would be 25 and under, you're getting drug tested strictly. 25 and above, hey, dude, we understand you're getting up there in age, but after that, then we're not going to test you anymore, because by then, hey, you're no longer an immature adult. It's up to you to do whatever you want. If you want to mess up your hormones, by all means, go ahead and do it. Under that, because they're younger, they're easily influenced by social media, by high-level coaches, by teams, by peers. But if they know that they're going to get tested under 25, then I think that's how you solve all these problems. And I think that goes across like all sports. Like, I don't think anybody in the NFL over 30 should be drug tested. I think they should be on all the gear if they want to continue to play. That sounds crazy.
In the NFL?
Yeah, dude, I think so. Because like,
yeah, right, bro.
Dude, I mean, they're already on it anyways.
But
we're talking about people's brain, like These dudes are like
Exactly.
getting
Dude,
hit by trucks every game, bro.
The problem is that they're still on it. So then it's like, why not just let everyone be on it? Because also, like, being on stuff like that will protect your brain from the head trauma.
exactly.
So then it's like, if you're getting hit, imagine if
How
you're the
will
one.
it protect your brain?
Bro, you're
you-
stronger everywhere.
Yeah,
Literally stronger everywhere.
having your hormones optimized will protect your brain from traumatic brain injuries, bro.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's bro science or what, but that's what I think.
It's real. You just said it on a podcast, so it's official science now.
Yeah.
But like that's one of the side effects of head trauma as well, is low testosterone.
Yeah. Depression and all that stuff.
And then if you have low testosterone, it's going to lower your reaction time. You're going to be quicker to take a hit. You're going to be quicker to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it. I always say this. When I have to defend DC over John Jones, it's like in the second fight, John Jones knocks him out in the fourth with the head kick, right? Before that, it very easily could have been 2-1 DC. Like, it was a great fight. DC could have been winning. It could have been DC for sure. At least had won one round, right? He maybe won two, depending on what you're judging. Gets knocked out on the fourth. I tell him this in a competition at that elite level, where we're talking milliseconds, millimeters of a difference. It's like, was that extra rep that John Jones could do in practice because he's on steroids because of that? Was that, extra rep that he did, in camp? What did that allow him to lift his leg up at that speed? If he figured out how to, beat the system in that fight, and he's on steroids at the time. In the fourth, was that extra little bit of steroids in his system is what allowed him to not be so fatigued to be able to get his leg up there like that. You know what I mean? Like it, what we'll never know, but what I'd like to say is it is like, that could be the difference in between somebody fighting clean and somebody fighting on steroids. Like, we're talking 3 rounds in at the highest pace possible. DC was known for pressure fighting, and you could see him getting John Jones tired. And then they're in the fourth, and it's probably a even stand up round, and then all of a sudden he lifts his leg up and kicks DC in the head and knocks him out. And it's like, I do know John Jones is an incredible fighter, and obviously one of the greatest we've ever seen. But it's like, those are the times that steroid use, I feel like, can be one of the biggest components in a situation of that nature.
Yeah, but I would just say, like, on the flip side, like Ty and Cade Rotolo, they're like clearly natural, right?
Yeah.
And they're the two best guys, and they've beaten many, many, many guys who are, who have tested positive in the past, or who are like clearly enhanced.
Yeah.
So at the same time, like, that's a good example to kids that, like, you don't have to use PEDs.
For sure.
Those two kids are young. They've been training their whole life. They work their ass off, and they beat plenty of people that are using PEDs at the same time. So I just think, like, I'm all for having like a tested league. If they want to have like an untested and a tested league, that's fine. But like, I just don't like the idea of like, okay, we're going to come here and like randomly test one person every event, because then it's like everyone's just going to do it because they don't care if they test positive or not.
Yeah.
It should just be all across the board. Like, hey, this league, this is the clean league. Don't do this league. We're going to test you. And then this league, you can fuck around and do whatever you want.
Yeah, but you just got to think that the way the society is, this day and age, that the clean league will never prosper, because nobody wants to. I mean, I guess maybe there is still some purity in that, right? Like,
or the clean athletes. The clean athletes just can take a stand and just be like, hey, we're not competing in this other league. Imagine if like Mikey Musumeci and the Rotolos and all the other guys are just like, hey, we're only going to do this league, and then we're not going to compete against these guys. We don't want to compete against enhanced athletes. Could do something like that,
For sure.
Yeah. And then they have like this crazy all-out tournament where it's the natty versus the unnatties.
Natty versus unnatties, bro.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty sick.
They should have a duel, bro.
That
A
would be
duel,
dope.
yeah. That would be funny, bro.
That'd be
And
so
everyone
good
still
because
gets
it's
drug
a toss-up.
tested because you just got to make sure that the
The unnatties have to test positive.
Make sure that they fail.
The unnatties have to test
Like,
positive
if you
to
don't
qualify.
fail, bro, if you don't fail this
You're
test,
off the
bro,
team.
you're
off the team.
DQ, dog.
And then all the natties have to test clean, and all the unnatties have to test positive.
I like it.
That would be crazy, bro. That'd be crazy if motherfuckers started getting DQ'd because they didn't fail the drug test.
It's like, dude, your test levels are almost normal. Like, you got to bump that up, bro. Like, this isn't okay.
Yeah, you got to get on up out of here, cuz.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
You brought up John Jones. Did you guys watch the John Jones-Stipe fight?
Yeah, bro. And I'm watching with people who are like John Jones fans, right? You know, anywhere I go, people like to like poke at me about John Jones DC. And I'm like, it's just so, I mean, it's just, you can bleep this out if you want, but it's just gay, bro. Like, don't do that to me. Like, why? Because me and DC are so close, you just want, like, of course I'm gonna be biased. Of course I'm gonna talk shit on John Jones. Like, if I didn't, like, then I would be a bullshit ass homie to DC. You know what I mean? It's like, there's like a handful of dudes in my life that I'm gonna defend you when you're not in the room, and DC's one of them, you know?
You know what sucks about that is that like people will be like, let's say these people are like on John Jones nuts, right? And they're talking shit to you about DC. But it's like, bro, John Jones does not know who you are. Like, DC is my actual like friend.
Exactly. Like
you're on this guy's nuts that you don't even, he doesn't know you exist, bro.
Yeah.
Get off his nuts.
I mean, it's insane to me. And then they'll like, but you know what's even the worst though? Is it the same dudes who, when DC walks in, they're like, DC, what's up?
Let me get a picture, bro.
DC, let me get a picture, bro. Like,
hey, you think you could get him to sign this for me, bro?
That's fucking weak, bro. You're fucking weak if you do that. I've seen it happen so many times, bro. I remember we were in a press conference in Brooklyn. I think it was before his second Stipe fight or first Stipe fight, something. And I'm in Brooklyn, bro, and I'm in the press conference, whatever, and DC's up there doing this thing, whatever. And I'm in the crowd, and I'm sitting behind some dude who's like, fuck you, DC. And DC's looking down at me, and I like poke this dude. I guess, well, I didn't know DC was looking, but I poked him. I go, hey, bro, like, shut the fuck up, you know? Like, that's my homie. And DC texted me and was like, yeah, get his ass, D, because he knew I was talking shit to him. But then as soon as I started saying something to him, this dude's like, bro, man, all right, man, I get it, bro. You know, I love John Jones, but dude, you know DC's still a legend, bro. Like, I love DC, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, what?
Hey, you know what was funny? I remember this. We were at Fat Boys watching the UFC fights.
Yeah.
And Henry Cejudo was fighting. Yeah. And he was doing that like kind of like low, like Lyoto Machida stance, right? Yeah. I was sitting with you and you texted DC and you were like, oh yeah, Cejudo's been training with Lyoto Machida. Oh, and then we heard DC say it on the broadcast. He was like, Deron Winn just texted me and said that he's been training with Lyoto Machida. And we were like,
We were at Fat Boys.
We were at Fat Boys, yeah. We were at the bar and we were all like,
drinking micheladas with some tortas around. That was Mason's go-to in Fresno, some tortas.
I don't discriminate, you know?
Anyways, John Jones Stipe, yes, I watched it. And Stipe, I mean, what a good guy. Like, he just was a guy that I was around a little bit for the Ultimate Fighter show or whatever. So even like when him and DC were fighting, it was like, and DC would say too, it's like, you just like you like have to like the guy, right? And then it's like, you know, I'm watching him and I'm like, oh, he hit him a couple times, you know, and I'm like doing this when he's hitting him because I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing all right. And he's so tough that like John Jones is hitting him and it's like he's like not going anywhere, you know? I'm like, maybe this dude lost a step, you know? And then clearly you could see how Stipe was just, he's like 42. He's just, Father Time has started to catch up to him,
And then I just think he took a lot of damage in that first round straight away.
Yeah.
And that just drains
you. Yeah, when he was dropping those elbows on him, bro.
Oh, Jones was on him in the first round.
Oh my gosh, bro.
So I think that took a lot out of Stipe as well.
Yeah, so that sucked. But I don't know, like John Jones, Tom Aspinall, like he's gonna fight Tom. It's gonna happen. The UFC is just gonna offer him like $20 million or something to do it.
I saw some headline that said that Jones was asking for $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're gonna pay it.
Yeah, I think he deserves that, right?
Yeah, the way Dana's on this, the way Dana on him, boy, he gonna pay it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get it.
Yeah,
so I saw.
And I don't know, is Tom the guy? 20, like he's like 27. He's in his prime. You got to think that if there is a kind of guy who could end the reign, it's him.
We're about to find out.
The good thing about this is we're about to find out.
Yeah, I saw a headline that said that they were like shooting for a certain date already, but obviously in like theory or whatever. But I can't find it now. But it's obviously like they're targeting a certain date.
Yeah, Jones was saying that he's already training, so he's already back in training.
What about not Islam and Arman, but what about Umar and Maraba?
Oh, it's a good fight, man.
Oh man, what a fight, huh?
That fight card's on my birthday, man.
Is it? Wait,
yeah.
When's your birthday?
January 18th.
Oh, January 18th.
Oh, what a good birthday present. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight, bro. I might go. I might go for my birthday.
Yeah.
It would be sick to sign with the UFC and then go to the fights, right?
Headliner. What?
It would be sick to go to sign with the UFC and then go to the fights on my birthday.
Yeah, for sure. At UFC.
I might have to give him a call, bro.
I got Umar. Did you have you guys watched any of the press conference? It's hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's 4 guys who learned how to speak English for this exact moment right now. There's no Americans up there, and these dudes are just speaking broken English.
You have to have respect. You have to respect.
You have to respect.
You have to respect.
Marab was crashing out, bro.
I'm like, chill, bro.
Marab crash out, bro.
He said, what about the jacuzzi? You remember jacuzzi?
Hey, Umar goes, I was not there.
I was not there, brother.
Islam goes, you can come, brother. Like I'm good. I'm not going to the jacuzzi, bro.
We got fights tonight.
Oh yeah, we do got fights tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian Machado Gary and Shavkat Rachmanov. I mean, please, the MMA gods, please let Shavkat win this fight, bro.
You just hate Ian Gary or what?
He's just so lame to me. But the more I see how he interacts with his kid, it makes me like him more.
I wouldn't say he was training at the same place that I was teaching the camp in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't really meet him, but I kind of like seen him around a little bit.
Yeah.
But
it's funny. It's like those kind of guys that portray that character or whatever are sometimes the best guys, some of the best guys.
Yeah, he was cool. I mean, I seen him there with his wife and his kid the whole time. They were just chilling at the resort.
Yeah, and his kid, you see all the stuff he has his kid to, bro? You see the one where he's like has him be like DC and like shoots on the single, and he's like, he literally looks at DC, he's like, you want him to run the pipe or get through him? And he's like, get through him. And so he ran the double leg as opposed to like running the pipe.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
Good
fight. I think it's a perfect fight. Perfect fight for number 1 contender, right? Both the undefeated guys.
Yeah.
Winner's gonna get Bilal.
Yeah.
And then Pantoja is fighting the Risen champ.
Oh yeah.
It's his UFC debut. This Asian kid.
Oh yeah, this is it.
Kai Asakura. So Kai Asakura is like a murderer on the feet, but his grappling is a little bit not that great. And Pantoja's grappling is like very, very high level.
Hey, this is dope, Andrew. We got to do more shit like this.
I know. I've been working on trying to get better at this sort of thing. I haven't typically done this
Dude,
in
this
my
is perfect.
production.
Pantoja's
Think about-
5'5", and Kaya Sakura's 5'8". The flyweights.
Are you, dude? Why would I ever Why would this ever be a moment for me to catch a shirt, bro? Like, why? Why does it have to be about me right now?
The flyweights are 5'8", bro.
Oh, Cyril Gane, Alexander Volkov. Oh, Bryce Mitchell, Kron Gracie.
Oh, that's a good fight.
Oh shit.
That's a good fight.
It's a terrible fight.
No, it's a good fight. Who else do you want?
Nobody wants to
fight?
watch Kron Gracie fight, bro.
I want to watch him fight Bryce Mitchell. I want to watch him fight.
5-2?
Dude, look at the money line on the submission though. Plus 1,200.
Yeah, well, the thing with Bryce Mitchell is that Bryce Mitchell is also like another jiu-jitsu guy, and doesn't have.
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was thinking about. I remember seeing this undercard. Look at all these, either former champs or former contenders on the prelims, bro. What an insane prelim! I remember seeing that the other day. Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith, both contenders. Aljamain, title holder.
It's a good fight, bro. Chris
Weidman.
Brown. Look at Chris Weidman's on Fight Pass, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Chris Weidman, Eric Anders, Fight Pass.
Michael Chiesa, Max
Chiesa's
Griffin.
on early prelims, bro. And Max Griffin. And Max Griffin maybe not be a title contender, but he's been in the UFC for 10 years.
Forever, yeah.
Dude, that's
I sparred, bro. When I was
watching.
When I was an amateur, I sparred with Max Griffin when he was maybe had 10 pro fights before he got into the UFC.
I mean, look at the first fight of the night is Clay Guida and Chase Hooper.
Oh, that's a good fight too.
Say Clay Guida and Chase Hooper, bro. I'm gonna watch that fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight. This is tonight. I mean, bro, these are gonna. We might just have to turn this into a fight companion. Honestly,
that'd be fun,
bro.
Oh, we should start doing that.
Yeah,
that would be sick, dude. I'd have so much fun doing that.
Watching the fights and
pull up the crack streams,
talking about them. Yeah, only crack streams, bro. And I hope this shit loads.
Yeah, you guys got to share those links with me.
Hey, bro, if my shit don't load after the second time, I'm turning the fights off, bro. Sorry.
I can't deal, bro. I just can't. I'm too invested, and I can't deal with the illegal streams, man. They just they're horrible. I'll rather just go to Buffalo Wild Wings and sit in the corner.
Yeah,
that'd be more funny if you're about to close the UFC deal and they're like, "Hey, you've been talking about watching all these fights, but it doesn't show that you have a subscription. So how are you watching these, Mason?"
No, I got a subscription.
Yeah, make sure you sit in the corner at beat up so nobody recognizes you, Mason.
No, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm like, are they gonna announce that I'm signed?
You're is that Mason Fowler? UFC grappler prospect?
They did one time. I think maybe when it was my match with Gordon, they put my name on the screen, but it was so small down at the bottom, and I was like, no one cared, bro. No one cared.
Did anybody see this?
Dude, so I'm glad we're all essentially back, even though we're all in different places now.
Yeah, I'm glad we're back, man.
Yeah. So for real though, if you caught the last episode and you caught us now, thank you so much for sticking with us. We have some really cool stuff coming along the way, including stuff like this. So wearing one of our first t-shirts that we'll have available very, very soon. If not already in the link, it's just a matter, or in the description, hey, we'll have links.
My shit never showed up, bro.
What's up?
My shit never showed up, bro. So
don't worry about it. It was a misprint anyways. So the legit ones will be sent out soon. But what I'm getting at is as soon as we just decide to turn on that that store essentially, then you will have access to that. So if you want to support the show, if you want to represent, we would sincerely appreciate that. Just like we would if you share this episode with a friend, just like when you hit that like button, when you hit that subscribe button, especially when you hit the rating and review thing and you drop us a review, that helps the show so much. Early on, I believe we were one of the first shows ever to be highlighted on Spotify's Video Hub. We only had 10 episodes at the time. that's fucking huge. Like that's unheard of. So obviously somebody is liking this show. So if you can help us spread that, that awareness, we would sincerely appreciate that. And you can do so, like I said, just share this with a friend. You have jiu-jitsu friends in your fucking gym. Just share it with one of them. Like that's how we grow. It doesn't happen like with one viral video. It happens with you just sharing with this episode with one person. So if you do that, we would sincerely appreciate you for doing so.
Hey, and I want to show the world this too. I want to show my baby boy.
Oh, look at that.
That's my baby boy, Chief. We call him Pied. He's a
I gotta get a dog. I gotta get a dog ASAP.
I'm telling you, y'all have some Dober Danes ready for you.
Yeah, and if anybody wants a stud, let me know.
Look at that. How much does he weigh?
I don't know. Fat, bro. He's fat for real. And then one more. I got one more.
Yeah, my dog's 13 weeks old and he weighs 45 pounds.
Look at Mando.
Look at you.
He's a fluffy Frenchie. We rescued him. He's for the streets, bro. He's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And then my daughter's in the room sleeping, but maybe next episode I'll introduce you guys to her. All right. Well,
I'm glad you're all settled in, bro.
Yeah, Nathan. I'm glad you are too, buddy.
I'm in a fucking hotel.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know what you're on, bro. So
I'm gonna move into a house. I'm gonna move into a house hopefully this month. So no more hotel life for
me. A little better next week. All right, and then we'll.
I doubt it.
We'll get it going. All right.
Stay positive.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Go watch the UFC fights tonight. We'll be back next week.